What up, babes? Welcome back. So we are going to talk about food in pregnancy today. I think it's super important. It's something that a lot of healthcare providers honestly don't know anything about. They just say, don't gain too much weight, and we'll check to see if you have gestational diabetes in a few weeks. And so obviously we don't want gestational diabetes. It's not healthy for mom or baby. And is weight gain really something to be concerned about in pregnancy? That's something we're going to talk about. Let's first talk about what kinds of foods you should and shouldn't be eating in pregnancy. My overarching statement is that all food groups should be included. When I say food groups, I'm talking about carbohydrates, healthy fats, and protein. I know there's so many different diets out there, and some say you really should be reducing your carbohydrates, you should be eating more fats, less fat, definitely get a lot of protein, and it's so confusing. But the general rule is really include all of your food groups. And for me, I am not a numbers person. I don't want to keep track of how many grams of protein am I supposed to eat a day, and am I getting that? And what about all these milligrams of different vitamins in my kale and my spinach? And it's too much to think about. And if you have any children, if you have a job, if you're married, if you have anything going on in your life, it's just too much to keep track of, in my opinion. So general rules here. All food groups. Make sure that when you sit down, it's okay for you to eat some bread or some oats, or if you like cheesy grits, go for them. If you want to have some butter on your bread, definitely a good healthy fat. That our oils and our fats have gotten so complicated. But if you're eating natural occurring fats like butter, which obviously comes from a cow, it's very natural, or if you're eating an avocado that has fats in it, if you are having olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, that's a healthy fat. So when you're really thinking about these food groups, think about whole foods. Can these things grow from the ground, or did they come from an animal and they didn't have to go and be extremely processed in a factory to get to the grocery store and in your house? Obviously, almost everything that we eat today is processed somewhat because we don't have farms, most of us, in our backyard where we're getting our food from. So obviously there's going to be some processing, but try to make sure that your foods in your pregnancy are as close to their natural state as possible. So that's kind of a general rule about your foods. I do want to talk about fasting. A few years ago, I read a book called Obesity Code, and the author talked extensively about why there is this growing number of obesity and even child obesity in our world today. What has happened to our bodies that all of a sudden people have this disease process that they can't get a cure to? They diet and nothing happens. Their weight might go down, but it goes back up. We have just so many people that for some reason can't lose weight. The overarching statement that he made is that we need to stop eating all the time. It's not necessarily about how much we're eating, and it isn't necessarily about what we're eating, though those do play a role in it. It is the fact that we eat around the clock. Even if it's just that we're eating carrots or popcorn, which are low calorie, at 11 o'clock at night while we're watching a movie, we are always eating, and we have to stop. We have to let our bodies take a break. There are so many different mechanisms that go on in our body during that resting period. Autophagy for one of them, where our cells are really cleaning up all the garbage inside of them, getting rid of it, and helping the cells last longer and have a better lifespan and not make as many mistakes. And then the other part that I really want to talk about is our insulin levels. I know if you're not medically minded, insulin is kind of confusing. You just know that some diabetics might need insulin. Well, we all have insulin in our bodies naturally. And if you have diabetes, it's because your body has either stopped making insulin or the insulin that is being produced is not working correctly. Insulin takes the sugar that you have ingested into your body and takes it to your cells, whether it's the cells in your legs, whether it's the cells in your tongue. If those cells in your body don't need that energy, then the energy is stored, and we store it in fat in our body. If we have all this insulin and we have all the sugar and it's being stored and this insulin is constantly at work, over time, that insulin just stays higher and higher and higher, and it needs to come back down. But if we're always putting food in our body, that insulin level can't come back down, and then it is no longer going to work correctly, and it's going to become resistant. And so during this resting time, this fasting time, we are allowing our bodies to reset like a thermostat in a house that cools the house. And when the house gets too hot, then it kicks on. Well, we have to reset this thermostat in our body so that insulin can come back down. And this is where intermittent fasting is so beneficial. And I know that if you talk to your healthcare provider, he's probably going to say, well, you're pregnant, you really should listen to your body and eat whenever your body's hungry. For a lot of women, that's during the night. I know that I would wake up sometimes hungry in the night while I was pregnant as well. But I personally, with my own experience, now I am not giving you medical advice here. You definitely should talk to your healthcare provider. But I also think as women, we need to be able to read, research, and make decisions for ourselves. So during my pregnancy, I continued intermittent fasting. It was something I did while I was not pregnant, while I was breastfeeding, and as well when I was pregnant. Now, when I'm not pregnant, I usually intermittent fast for 18 hours. But when I'm pregnant, I really just wanted to make it to the 14-hour mark. So I would stop eating at nighttime at 7 p.m. After 7, the kitchen's closed. I'm not going to drink my calories. I'm not going to eat snacks. I'm not even going to eat those healthy snacks that everybody says is okay in pregnancy. And I'm going to let my body rest until I get up the next morning. And then at 9 o'clock, then I will eat a very full breakfast. I would eat a bowl of oats, I would eat 2 eggs, I would have some cheese and a glass of milk for breakfast. I didn't necessarily pay attention to my weight. I just paid attention to the fact that I was letting my body rest and reset every night. And that really leads me to my next topic about weight gain. What's a healthy weight gain in pregnancy? YouTube content is great, but sometimes it's really hard piecing together all this information and content for you to love your birth experience. And that's why I've created a complete course. It's the backbone, everything that you need to love your birth experience. Plus, I am very pro daddy doula. I love it when dads are in there supporting mamas giving birth. So if you want me to join you on this journey and give you everything that you need to love your birth experience, then go ahead and click the link below, check out the course, and I am so excited to go on this journey with you. Most doctors will say 25 to 35 pounds. Don't gain more than 35 pounds in pregnancy. And I really want to talk about what you're eating and maybe why that's such a problem. We have to stop eating so much sugar as pregnant people and as non-pregnant people. Sugar is very addicting and it's just this quick energy. Our body breaks it down, and if we don't use that energy right away, it's going to store it as fat. Not to mention what it's doing to just this dopamine kick in our brain. I personally think we have to stop eating so much sugar, especially while you're pregnant. It's just not where we should be getting our calories and our energy from. A lot of people talk about the Brewer diet, and it's something that I really looked into in my twin pregnancy because everybody was talking about how I might get preeclampsia while I'm pregnant. And so I wanted to make sure that I stayed away from preeclampsia, and I did everything that I possibly could to stay away from it. This is when I really started reading about the Brewer diet and what all it entailed. And I followed some of it and didn't follow it to the T because, again, I don't like all of this overwhelm and I have to check mark everything. Am I following everything correctly? So what exactly does the Brewer diet entail? Well, we're talking about in pregnancy, not paying attention to how much weight that you're gaining. You are going to not be paying attention to how much salt you're taking in, just salt to taste. If you need some salt on that food, that chicken that you're eating, that grilled chicken that's super bland, go ahead and salt it, and making sure that you're getting lots and lots of protein in your diet. Now, me personally, like I said, I like to follow some things and kind of pick and choose. I did not follow the Brewer diet to the T, but I did take it as just kind of a reference and thought about during my day, am I eating enough of this protein? Am I getting enough salt? Am I really increasing my fat intake? Because in our culture, we eat so much processed and packaged food that's just has fillers in it, has lots of sugar in it, has lots of processed carbs in it, and really no healthy fats at all. And so the thing with the Brewer diet is you got to pull out that cast iron skillet. You got to say, okay, I am going to be cooking a lot because honestly, all those packaged foods are super easy to eat and they don't take a lot of time, but they're not giving my body what it needs. And so my general rule was I got to pull out the cast iron skillet at every meal. And so at 9 o'clock in the morning, I was cooking my 2 fried eggs with a lot of butter. I had a lot of cheese in there. I had my glass of milk. And I had a lot of veggies throughout the day. And I was adding lots of salt to those eggs, salt to taste. And I know that to a lot of women, this is like, oh my gosh, why are you eating this way? This seems completely unhealthy, completely against what we were taught with the non-fat diet or low-fat diet. But I will say it's satisfying. With me and my twin pregnancy, I had a lot of nausea throughout my entire pregnancy. There's not a lot of room in your stomach in pregnancy. So this whole idea of like, keep eating just small meals throughout the day, eat those bland crackers. It's like, I'm just adding filler with this mindset of I'm gonna be eating this high fat, energy dense food. I didn't have to eat as often, which I love because I had 2 little toddlers running around the house. I did not have time to just be eating all day. And that's where moms would say, well, then just, grab a bag of chips or a bag of crackers and then you can kind of eat throughout the day. No, I don't think that that's healthy for my body because I'm trying to decrease all of the processed foods. So the whole idea of pull out the cast iron skillet, make lots of food, and eat what you can. Obviously, if your stomach's full, like don't keep cramming in there because you're just gonna be miserable. But if you can eat more calories in fat and protein and get some fluids in your body, then you're not gonna have to eat throughout the day. You can go longer periods of time. And especially during that nighttime where you're gonna have to fast for maybe 14 hours. This is just kind of a guideline. This is to give moms hope that there are some things that we can do that affect our body, that we don't just have to be these blobs of a human growing another human and we have no control over what happens to our bodies. I really want to encourage you that food is such an important part of your pregnancy and the outcomes of your pregnancy, making sure that you're getting good vitamins and nutrients, that you're getting plenty of water. Ditch the soda, ditch all of the coffee drinks, ditch all of those juices, drink lots of water, salt your food to taste. Make sure you're getting good, healthy fats. I know that that's something that if you're thinking like, I can't gain weight in my pregnancy because my doctor said that I can't, I already struggle with weight gain. Healthy fats are good. Your body needs that energy. It's the carbs, the processed carbs, that sugar, and the highly processed flours that your body is going to take in and be like, oh, this is easy. I hardly have to break this down. I'm going to use that insulin and bam, store it as fat. And all of a sudden you're putting on weight that maybe you're nervous about. And I know a lot of moms that have suffered preeclampsia. I am not trying to minimize what has happened in your body. I'm not saying that just a mindset and just a diet can fix it, because you're probably thinking like, well, that didn't work for me. I hope this is encouraging to you. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.